Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's time for the finals of our Theros game day here at McNeil Gaming. This is Chris Doyles. I was in this tournament for a while. I lost in the top 4 to the person you see on your right, Mike White. Yeah, shit out, as was indicated by Smurf. Just a little bit of a misplay. It was on camera last round, so you guys could see it. I did make that mistake in not killing his creature at the end of his turn, as opposed to, or at the end of my turn when he flashed in the Boonzader, as opposed to letting him untap. That ended up being a mistake, of course, because of God's willing. But you know what? We've said many times it's easy to play perfect in hindsight. So that's it. Here we are, and now I'm going to call the finals. We have. On one side, Mike White playing green-white aggro, and on your left, Alex McNeil with a very different kind of deck. This is a blue-white devotion deck. So the devotion, of course, is to white, and he's using the Nykthos to accelerate out things like a bunch of Heliod tokens, or for example, and also Elspeth and Angel of Serenity. So it's going to be interesting to see if the green-white deck is able to keep up with this this fast ramping of very large creatures from the blue-white devotion deck. So for everybody watching the chat, I don't believe, is currently working for me. It's still reading undefined up here. So I cannot actually see the chat. I do apologize that I cannot see what you guys are typing. But, alas, we do what we can do. So this blue-white deck is very interesting, and as I said, very unique. It's playing cards like Detention Sphere, Azorius Charm, that sort of thing. Typical blue-white control cards. But it's also playing the Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and a bunch of the big spells that I already mentioned. And the player's going to roll some dice here. I believe that's a 9. It's hard to tell with the yellow dice, and that looks like less. So I believe Alex is going to be on the play with his blue-white. It's sort of mono-white in a sense. It's splashing blue for a few cards. Alright, so let's have a look at the openers here. Well, there's the Angel of Serenity, and there is a Nykthos in hand, so I think Alex is pretty happy. I believe he does have a couple of early spells, Brave the Elements being one of his spells. And Mike is going to think about this hand. It looks like he is saying, I'm going to keep. So Alex is going to be on the play. What's he doing? I'm very confused. Oh, I think he forgot to de-sideboard. So I don't think that's a huge that's not a huge issue. This is, of course, regular Ariel, so there won't be any game losses, anything like that. But I think he will be forced to take a mulligan here, down to 6 cards because of that. I'm assuming that the Brave the Elements that we saw in hand probably out of the board. I'm getting late texts of encouragement. Unfortunately, I have already been defeated. Okay, so Alex is going to reshuffle. I'm assuming this will be a forced mulligan, and it is, down to 6. And Mike is in fact keeping his hand. So I see a couple planes. I see a Judge's Familiar. I believe that's a Boros Reckoner. Probably going to keep, and he does. We see a planes. I believe that's the promo foil planes, Why they made a basic land a promo, I have no idea. But anyway, Wizards of the Coast. And that Plains is going to play Judge's Familiar. So this is the Curse Catcher style effect. Of course, from Return to Ravnica, in the form of a 1/1 flyer this time, but without the relevant creature type of Merfolk. Okay, slight Earthquake here, just give us a second. I believe that was an Angel of Serenity drawn for Alex. So, Familiar you're going to come across, and no 2-drop, so it's just going to pass. Experiment 1 the draw from Mike, and he's going to go to 17 off of a shock here. And you got an Experiment 1 and probably a Soldier of the Pantheon, and that's exactly what we have, so we get some Evolve triggers. So both of the Experiment 1's going to be 2/2s, attack for 2. Mike off to a very aggressive start here. Elspeth is the draw. And so I imagine we're going to see Boros Reckoner, and that's going to stop some of the pressure. It is not going to relieve the Soldier of the Pantheon, however. And of course, Judge's Familiar cannot block the Soldier because the Judge's Familiar is a hybrid card, so it is multicolored, the same as the Reckoner. So, possible that Alex missed out on a point of damage there. But we'll have to wait until later to see if that is going to be relevant or not. All I can say is that a Nykthos would be pretty good soon. Wouldn't be able to do a whole lot this upcoming turn. And so you see Mike is going to send in the Soldier. That's going to get in for 2, and we're going to see a Call of the Conclave come down, which is going to evolve those Experiment 1s again. So Mike is applying a lot of pressure here. Now, the fact that Alex gets to untap and draws another Boros Reckoner, that doesn't hurt either. So he is going to be able to first strike the Reckoners, which on the field of 3/3s, it's something that is irrelevant because it can be blocked anyway. Alex is looking to stabilize the board state here until he can hit his bigger spells. So Mike is on 2 mana, but we see another Call of the Conclave drawn. So he does have action. I think pretty clearly he was hoping for a mana there to be able to play the Loxodon Smiter and turn those Experiment 1s into 4/4s, which I think is the biggest that they can become in Mike's deck. Advent of the Worm, yes, okay. So they can become 5/5s. So we see Call of the Conclave, number 2 for Mike. Got some 3/3 dudes. I had my backpack somewhere. I don't know where that is. Oh, that's under you. Okay. So, I do have a lot of tokens in this box. I'm going to send them back so that if they want to use them, they can, or if they need to use them, they can, rather. Like, there's some beasts that can play Centaur and all that fun stuff. It's like Garrick, I'm in here for some reason. Someone want to do me a favor, bring these back? So you could just lay that there with them and say that they can, use the tokens if they need to.
He's doing it now.
Okay, you got them? Do you have a voice token among them? Okay, never mind. Larry is getting the store's tokens, so we're going to use those. Alright, so there we go. Got the Centaurs. So now it's easier for us to just be able to see what's going on and keep tabs on everything a little bit easier. So there's a Fleecemane Lion that was, I'm assuming, played last turn. And that was met by Precinct Captain. So Precinct Captain is going to put a stopper on the Soldier of the Pantheon. So, with limited access to mana, Excuse me. Alex is, looks like he stabilized the board pretty effectively. Alright, so we see another experiment one come down. We're going to pass the turn. And I believe a Heliod was the draw for turn, and it was. And so here comes Heliod. And Heliod is active by 1.5 miles. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 devotion to white on board for Alex, so Nykthos would be pretty good right about now. And it looks like we're going to send in a Reckoner. See, Mike is thinking about if he wants to block this or not. I definitely don't hate some kind of a block on this, but definitely is debatable. But at the same time, Mike is not going to be able to attack through these Reckoners anytime soon. But Mike opts to take the damage. He's going to fall to 15. You see another Fleece Main line drawn. At least it is something he can cast. However, it is clearly not what he desires. And here's something interesting, guys. You see a Selesnya Charm in Mike's hand. That can, in fact, exile a Heliod God of the Sun. Because Heliod is a 5/6 creature. He is indestructible, but he is not hexproof. So the exile effect on the charm will still apply. We'll see if Mike decides to go with that line, or if he decides to try and add more to his board with the Fleece Main line that he's drawn for the turn. The restriction on mana really hurting him here. And he opts to go for the Fleece Main line, so he is going to evolve that Experiment 1 and just continue to add to his board state. This board is getting really, really clogged up. Okay, so Soldier of the Pantheon, the draw for turn. Not the land that Alex wants. He does want to be able to get that Elspeth online. You see one Burrows Reckoner going to come across again. And now the question here is, does Mike want to save himself some damage by blocking with the Soldier? The Soldier does have protection from the Burrows Reckoner, remember. Now, he would be able to redirect the damage to the Experiment 1, but he would keep his Soldier of the Pantheon, and then after that, the damage would just have to go upstairs, so he'd be taking 2 damage as opposed to the 1. So I believe we're going to see a Soldier of the Pantheon come down. We are. I'm very surprised that Mike isn't going for the play of exiling Heliod. It's very possible he just doesn't see the play, or isn't aware that that can happen, but I mean, I don't think that that's the case. Mike is a very experienced player. We've seen him on camera on this stream many times. And there is the 6th land for Alex. Now he is going to be able to get that Elspeth online, and that's going to just really look to take this board over, because Mike has no way to deal with it. Alright, so an attack from the Burrows Reckoner, we could potentially see a double block with the soldiers. Now, he would lose one of his Fleece Main lines to it, but it looks like he is going to do that. Alex is going to first strike. I don't think he realizes that that is irrelevant. Now he realizes it's irrelevant. And it looks like he is going to not first strike after all. And Mike's saying, no, you declared first strike. That's hugely relevant right now, because that means that there is no 6th land for Elspeth to come down. Very relevant. And still not a land. So Mike has been sitting on 2 land this entire game, and the fact that he's built up the board state that he has, pretty impressive. So we're going to see if he does go for the charm onto the Heliod, or if he decides to go with another line. The important thing to remember, though, Angel of Serenity sitting in hand for Alex. One more mana, and he is going to be able to drop that, and the Angel's Serenity is just going to completely decimate whatever Mike has on the board, and still not killing the Heliod. Like, this does surprise me. It's possible that he's trying to save it for an Angel of Serenity. At this point, I think I might have killed the token machine, but, I mean, Mike is there and I'm not, so I don't know. I don't know if I can really judge. I didn't quite catch what the draw for Alex was that turn. Oh, dear God, it's Nykthos. Okay, Nykthos can currently add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. That does permit the acceleration out of the Angel of Serenity. I would be very surprised if we don't just see that here. And here it comes. I have mana, says Alex, and now I have a really big dumb angel. And that is going to target. Looks like he's looking at Experiment 1. So it's going to wipe out the Centaurs and put Fleecemane Lion underneath it. Alright. So suddenly the board has been pretty drastically reduced here. For Mike. It's been quite added to for Alex. And another 3-drop drawn for Mike.
Doing pretty good on team mana though. Oh, yeah.
Alright. So Mike, you've been saving the Selesnya charm all that time. I'm assuming it's for exactly this. You're gonna have a sad, sad time when you, Oh, he was almost untapped and then said, no, I'm gonna make a cleric. So you're gonna have a sad time when this Elspeth comes down. Very sad time. How much does Nykthos add right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. Oh my god, Shrine to Nykthos is really good. Or Shrine to Nyx. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. I can't talk. Alright, well, we have an Elspeth, and there's mana left over, so make a free Heliod token. Why not? And Elspeth is going to say, I want 3 bros. So we're going to have 3 bros. And it looks like we got an angel coming forth to battle. And Judge is familiar, right? Okay. Judge familiar underneath the angel. Okay, does Mike not have a Selesnya charm in his hand? Like, I could swear on almost anything that he has a charm. Now, he just drew another 3-drop, so I think he's drawn every 3-drop in his deck at this point, but no third land. Like, if Mike has the charm here, that was the time to use it. So we see a second Nykthos drawn for Alex, like that's necessary. Alright. No, you don't get clerics from the Elspeth, you get soldiers. Elspeth does not plus and make 2 ones. Oh my god, that would be insane. Right. Finally pulls the trigger on the charm, and Alex doesn't see the Judge's Familiar play.
That was me. I killed you.
That's back in your hand? Yeah, okay. Oh man. He does not see that he could just sack the Judge's Familiar. Now, I don't think it's going to matter. I think this board has gotten well outside of Mike's control. We see, mana out the wazoo, and I think they're just going to be pumped into tokens here. Yeah, we see 6 clerics. And I'll lay another Nykthos, because you know what? Why not? Fair magic is good fun, right? Oh, I forgot. This isn't fair magic. And finally, the 3rd land, late to the party. I don't really think Mike can come back from this. I'm making an educated guess here, but it's going to be very, very, very tough for him to come back. See the planes. We're going to see a Johnny. Or a Smiter. We see a Smiter. Big Papa. Going to evolve. Evolves all of the creatures that have evolved. And I think we're just going to see a pass. We're going to see Nykthos make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana, which is going to pump out 2 more tokens. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit sick watching this Nykthos in action. This card is just completely absurd. You know, we heard people saying at the Pro Tour that someone jokingly, when they were writing their deck list, wrote down 4 Tolarian Academy and then said, haha, crossed it out and put 4 Nykthos. Tolarian Academy being one of the most busted cards ever printed. So that says something about that card. And so we see Elspeth say, "Fat things go boom." And Mike says, "Well, I'm going to regenerate my experiment 1s, so I no longer have fat things, except for the Smiter, which died." And here comes a really, really, really big... Well, okay, so this is Mike's turn. Alright, and Alex is saying, "Buddy, I got 10 2-1s down here as it is, let alone everything else I've got. You're dead. You're dead."
Yeah.
So, Alex is going to be up a game over Mike White. Mono White, well, Blue White, I suppose you could call it, Devotion, is going to go up a game. And Mike is going to reach straight for those Glare of Heresies. Those are precisely what he desires. And I presume Alex probably going to do the same. Bit of a glare off here.
You bring in the brave elements to fight against the glares.
Brave is possible, though I wouldn't be surprised if it was left out. Brave is obviously good, but Glare of Heresy. I don't know how much Alex wants to necessarily cut in this matchup. I think most of his cards are pretty well positioned. Alright. So, ideally this game, Mike draws his third land before whatever turn that was. What was that, turn 10? I don't know. Something stupidly late, and considering Mike stayed alive as long as he did is something.
Probably like 24 to probably all punch. That's it, they're all in a punch.
So Mike looking at Voice Resurgence here. Trying to decide if Voice is worth keeping in, and I think he decides no. And I can kind of agree with that play, because the Voice of Resurgence, well, A, gets just dealt with by the Angel and Detention Sphere. Alex is not really looking to do much on Mike's turn. He's more so just kind of tapping out to cast dudes. So, I don't think the Voice of Resurgence does a whole lot for Mike in this matchup. Of course, we see the Azorius Charm in the board.
It's like, move over, guys, cradle. Well,
Alright, so we are going to continue our finals here now. Mono White, Devotion, with a little bit of blue, up against the Green-White aggro deck of Mike White. Green-White is a deck that at the beginning of the format we saw a ton of, because it was one of the more obvious archetypes to to play with.
8 bucks or something.
But
15.
as the format has moved on, it has started to slowly die off. The decks that are coming out, Mono Blue Devotion, for example, um, Green-White doesn't usually do as well against. So in those matchups, like, it's not that the Green-White deck is like bad necessarily, but it always just feels like something's missing. And it has weapons to fight against the control decks, but of course, those weapons are only good if you draw them, and 9 times out of 10, the control deck is going to draw its answers to you, as they have far more than you have answers to them.
Right away you have a gun.
The card I'm referring to, of course, being Rootborn Defenses.
I have a gun.
So we can look at this now, and basically we need to say, alright, what does Mike need in order to beat the Devotion deck plan from Alex? Well, he really needs some early, he really just needs early acceleration into really big creatures. Like, he really needs his early curve of, like, with Experiment 1 into, I don't know, something on turn 2, whatever it may be, Fleet's Main Lion, I guess. Turn 3, play something else big. Mike just needs to curve out perfectly and have Alex not be able to get his big stuff.
I'm a French guy.
Because I think if we start seeing Elspeth and Angel of Serenity come down, we're going to see the game get locked up pretty fast. I think a weapon that Mike is going to be calling on in this matchup is, in fact, a Johnny, Collar the Pride. He does have a couple of copies in his deck. He's, I believe, going to be calling on those pretty heavily because they do allow him to put his creatures above the creatures that Alex is clogging the board with and get in some pretty big damage in the air. So I think that is a definite consideration for, like, the top pick of cards that Mike will want to resolve in this matchup.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, but Nicholas just said. Yeah.
If I can get a gun.
Yeah. Kevin was, just stop control decks. Nicholas just stop quality. What?
So we're going to take a look at our opening hands. I don't see many land in hand for Mike. It might be 1 or 2. He might be... Okay, he is going to keep it. He's got 2 lands, so he should be alright. Hell Fountain tap for Alex. Go ahead. Oh, there's the 3rd land. He's going to have 3 land this game. So we're going to see a forest. And Mike does not have a 2-drop, though. Ugh, that kind of hurts. So he's in Azorius Gilgate the draw. Pass the turn again. And Mike's going to start getting aggressive with a Selesnya Charm, making a 2/2 Vigilance Knight. And then the awkward Experiment one, drawn right after. And here is the Ajani Collar Pride, as I mentioned previously. So this is going to be an attack for 3 here. Of course, now Alex does have the Detention Sphere in hand, so he is going to be able to deal with that Ajani next turn. But of course, we know that Mike has Glare of Heresy in his hand. Alright, so I think Alex is thinking between the Reckoner and the Detention Sphere, excuse me. He opts to go with the Reckoner, planning to just keep that knight at bay.
I have 1, 2 shanks, 1, 2 guns, a katana.
Could be baiting the glare.
Alright, so this is on Mike now. We'll see if he decides to glare away this Boros Reckoner. Looks like he's going for that, and he is. Glare of Heresy going to exile Reckoner. We're going to see another tick up on a Johnny, and here comes a hit for 4. And I believe, we have an Experiment 1 to follow it up. So So Alex going to draw a land for the turn. And we'll see if he decides to go with the detention sphere. Looks like he's going to this turn. Oh, he is going to go with another Reckoner. Okay. This is kind of dangerous, though, because that Ajani is threatening to make that knight fly and get in for 8, potentially more, if Mike has a pump spell of some kind.
Chris, chat seems to be working now. What was over there?
Chat's working over there, I'm being told. I'll refresh the page to see if it works here.
I found another gun that makes that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have another gun.
Nope. Still no luck with the chat over here.
Someone's over there commenting about 3 lands.
Okay.
I found another gun.
Yeah, no, there's no chat here still. I don't know. I think it's just something going on this computer. All right, so we're gonna see a land come down for Mike, and a Johnny. I'm assuming, yeah, it's gonna tick down. Knight is big and has flying. And what's this? 3 mana. Oh dear, another Ajani. And I assume that Ajani's gonna go up to put a counter on the knight. And here comes an attack for 10, dropping Alex to 3. Quite a turn there for Mike. Alright. Celestial Flare is the draw for turn for Alex, so that is going to be able to keep back the knight. We see a Detention Sphere now take care of Ajani. Go away. Do not want you. Alright, so land is the draw for Mike. He's got 2 cards in his hand right now. One of them is a land. Do not know what the other one is. Alright, so we know that Mike has at least 1 land in hand. We do not know what his other card is. We see Alex looking at Celestial Flare in his own hand, as well as Brave the Elements, and I believe Heliod. And another land. So if this knight gets in, very likely to be just flared. And we're going to see Mike pass the turn. He's not going to attack into the Reckoner. Another Celestial Flare is the draw, so Alex is now going to be able to play out that Heliod and continue to represent Celestial Flare. So here's Heliod. 1 devotion. Oh wait, no, it is online. Detention Sphere puts it online. Alright, Heliod. So Heliod is in fact up. Ooh, that's pretty good. That is another Ajani. Now the question is that is Mike going to go all in here and get blown out by this Celestial Flare? Yes, he is. And there goes the knight. Most unfortunate, because now Ajani is going to bite the dust. And that was an Angel of Serenity for the turn. 1 mana shy of casting it. But I'm going to guess that it's not going to matter too much because, well, if Angel comes down next turn or the turn after or the turn after that, it's probably just going to, like, end the game. Alright, both creatures going to come in, presuming both of them going at Ajani. It's also possible here that he could just send the Reckoner at Johnny and the Heliod at Mike. That way then, if Mike tries to block the Reckoner, the Experiment 1 will do 1 damage to it. He can just redirect the damage to the Planeswalker. Another land, the draw for Mike. Mike drawing too many land this game. Had not enough the first time, has got too many this time. And it looks like he's going to say go. And Alex going to say, not misplaying, making dude. There is the Heliod token. we see an all-in attack here. This attack for 10. Mike's gonna take it. Go 10. And we're just gonna see it pass the turn. That's a Temple Garden. That doesn't do much. So not a very exciting finals here. We have one player mana screwed in one game, and now the same player being mana flooded in the next. And here comes the Angel of Serenity, which is going to just sew up this game, I think. He'd also just brave the elements, name green, and kill him that way. And we see a chump on the Heliod. Mike down to 5. Turn's going to be passed. And there's all the lands for Mike, and that's it. So Alex McNeil is going to be your Game Day 1 champion with a mono white Devotion deck. So as we talked about, Devotion being a very, very, very powerful strategy, now being shown in all the colors. White is taking it down. That is your game day, and that's it for me. So from here at McNeil Gaming, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, you might not hear me tomorrow, but I'm assuming this will be on tomorrow. So